Welcome to a little discussion about why the DERMS delivery model from Smarter Grid Solutions is a benefit. My name is Yusef Orest. I'm a senior project manager here at Smarter Grid Solutions. I've been with the company for a little bit over 2 years, and I'm now working as a delivery leader. What that means is that I've come to the organization from the utility perspective. I worked at 3 consecutive utility organizations, and I bring a unique viewshed from what it's like to be inside of a utility to how we actually deliver and implement DERMS for our utility and C&I and development customers here at SGS. The first thing that I really would like to talk about is why DERMS implementation is unique in every case. What really that means is that when a customer comes to us and wants to talk about a DERMS platform and a DERMS integration, we understand that each use case and each instance and each project and each customer has a unique set of requirements and outcomes that they're looking to achieve. Because SGS has over 30 active DERMS systems in place today, we are able to sort of take a dynamic and flexible delivery process approach with our customers. It comes from both experience, but also the knowledge base that we bring with us as we implement DERMS systems. A big part of my job here at Smarter Grid Solutions is to make sure that we go above and beyond when we're implementing DERMS with our customers. What that really is aimed at is being a seamless integration into already utility operations and making sure that what we do doesn't disrupt what utilities are already doing. So we try to be very adaptable to a customer environment and the methods that our customers already use to manage their DER assets on the grid. As I mentioned, we have about 30 live DERMS systems across the world today, several of them in North America, in the UK, in Australia, and in Europe. All those systems are comprised of something like 500 different DER assets and well over 500 megawatts of connected equipment. These deployments and this amount of experience, we've been in the marketplace for about 15 years. It kind of gives us this unique experiential perspective that we can bring to the table when we're integrating DERMS platforms with our customers. So no matter what your use case is, we are able to be adaptable and help you see some of rather to navigate through the different perspectives that are needed when you're implementing a DERMS platform. What that really means is that we're blending both of our experience but our expertise in the marketplace. Having implemented so many different DERMS systems, we're able to hybridize our approach and be adaptable and flexible with our customers to ensure that the delivery process from conception all the way to delivery actually has the seamless and dynamic approach that our customers are looking for. At the end of all that, what we're really looking to do is make sure that we deliver on time and safely for our customers, meaning that we're not disrupting your normal operations. We're able to integrate our DERMS platform into what you're already doing today to be able to have continuity and move forward with this new system on your utility platform. I already mentioned this, but each integration that we do is unique for each customer, each use case, each type of DER project that you're putting onto your system. All of our customers come to us with unique requirements and different perspectives, and we want to make sure that we assess those specific requirements in each case and talk diligently with our customers about how we're going to take our platform and the different products that we offer and make sure that they're blended into what our customers' outcomes are aiming at. For anyone who's thought about a DERMS platform, you know that it takes commitment and planning. It's no straightforward thing to think about modernizing your utility system, or even if you're a developer or a C&I operator, to add something new to the way that you operate. So part of the experience and the knowledge that SGS brings to the table is really meant to provide a smooth integration of the DERMS platform and the system to ensure that through concept to delivery, this integration of the DERMS platform is smooth without interruptions to your normal operating procedures. We have a great team of engineers here. So not only the engineers, the boots on the ground people like myself, project managers, delivery engineers, architects. We also have a lot of technology folks in our footprint who are able to help support whatever the use case and the outcomes that our customers are looking for. What that really means is that we blend that knowledge and that experience into our delivery style for our projects. The main aim is customer outcome, right? Our customers come to us and they have a need that they need to complete a project within a certain time frame and without interrupting normal operations, meaning they want it delivered safely without having any problems. And so part of what we think we do at SGS, and I feel strongly about this, is that we actually de-risk the delivery process. We have tech stack. You can come around the corner and see a demo today if you like. We can show you all the different products that we have that help meet your use case and the requirements that you have. But part of that tech stack advantage is that it's flexible, right? So we can take what we do and we can blend it and bend it to what is needed in your use case instance. Part of what we do is test early and test often. So I'll talk a little bit more about this coming up, but what that really means is for us to implement a test system early in the process and take what we learn about your outcomes and your needs with requirements and turn that into a test system where we can actually flesh out all those requirements to make sure that we didn't overlook something in the process. So test early and test often allows us to see what we didn't see when we were starting the project and move forward with a smooth and dynamic delivery. And also bringing that experience and knowledge base to the implementation means that we're actually able to see things well in advance so that we don't get hung up in the middle of the process, right? We don't find a pitfall that bumps us off course as we're working through our delivery. This is maybe a bit cliche to say it this way, but it's not really about checking boxes for us. It's part of what we do. This is strong in the SGS culture, is to make sure that we are careful about customizing the solution to the customer needs, right? So every use case, as I said, is unique. Every project is unique. There's different requirements, different methods, different timelines that are required by our customers. And what we want to make sure that we're doing is blending all of that expertise that we have and getting to the solution that the customer needs at the end of the day. Whether it's a regulatory requirement, you have clean energy goals that you're working on, or you actually have an asset on your grid that is complicated and you need to manage it in a particular way, part of what we do is we bend our knowledge and our expertise and our flexibility to make sure that our platform actually meets your needs. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about our customer outcome focus. We are a very customer-focused organization. We want to make sure that whatever our customers are coming to us with, we're really understanding. And part of that is done through culture, right? So we have our own culture at SGS, but it's also really important to make sure that we understand our customers' culture. Each organization comes to the table with different needs and wants, but they also have a way that they like to work, right? And part of that way is the culture, the way in which that they communicate with each other and they understand each other. We need to be able to step back and understand that from the customer's perspective and join forces. That gets into style, right? So collaboration is really, really a high focus area for SGS. That's a big part of our style. We're not really the type of organization that will take your requirements and tell you what you're getting. What we really want to do is understand your requirements and then change our particular style to make sure that we're collaborating with you in the way that you work and the way that you implement things. So that means that we have to step back and make sure that we understand and we can see where you want to get to. And that's really by us joining your team and adapting our style to make sure that we understand. And of course, when you blend culture and style together, we start talking about methods, right? So SGS often takes the waterfall approach to implementation. That can mean a lot of things, of course, but just because we have a delivery method and a delivery style that we're ready to give to our customers, often our customers come to us with an adaptation to what is our normal delivery process. They want to make sure that we're taking into account the way that they like to work. And so if that's an agile process where we're running Kanban boards and have a Scrum Master, we're happy to hybridize our methods to make sure that when we're integrating with your team, we're able to be dynamic and lead to a smooth delivery at the end of the process. So just a really quick sort of overview of what's typical for us, and then a little bit of how we bend this to make sure that we're meeting customers' expectations. So of course, there's a project initiation. We go through the checklist, we check the SOW, we make sure that we're seeing the requirements that you've laid out in the contract with us. But where we take that next is we actually do the requirements analysis. Now, of course, this is very typical in any project implementation, but what we'd like to think is a bit unique about how we approach this is we take those requirements and we come up with some baseline documentation, and we rigorously go through those as a project partnership and make sure that we understand what it is that you're actually looking for from outcomes from those requirements. From there, we're actually able to kind of move on to sort of the design phase, and we get to what I would call baseline documentation, right? So this might be a functional design specification or a product specification from a customer's perspective. And it's really in this part of the process where we do all that data gathering and we really, really set to work on understanding your requirements mean this to you, and this is how our products and what we do with our methods meets you at the outcome that you really, truly need. From there, we can actually get into talking about implementation, right? So we transpose those requirements and the baseline design into an actual implementation footprint, right? So we stand up our servers, we stand up our system, and make sure that the system that is going to be put in front of the end operators, say at a utility organization, is going to actually meet their needs. From there, we go through multiple iterations of testing. This is where I think a bit of our magic comes into place. We test early and we test often, meaning at the outset we have a factory acceptance testing process. So we do a bit of pre-factory acceptance testing, right? We stand up the system, we make sure that the baseline requirements, the baseline functionality is going to do what we expect. So that's a bit of behind the scenes sometimes for SGS, but we always take that into a witness environment with our customers to ensure that our customers can actually see what the baseline system is prepared to do. From there, we move on to adding some of the field devices or the utility devices or the end equipment, right? So we might add a firewall or a VPN service. We might take it to the actual test environment where we're actually placing the real operating hardware. And that process, again, there's some behind the scenes work for SGS, but this is where the real collaboration happens with our customers to ensure that the system that we're standing up and that we're now going to test in the pre-production environment is ready for delivery. From there, we often make several adjustments. And this is where that blend of what the customer outcomes need to be and our flexible and dynamic approach to delivery comes into place. Because often in this witness section of the test environment, what comes back to us from customers is, oh, we didn't understand that this works this way. Can we adjust this? And our answer is yes, of course we can adjust this. At the end of the day, we want this system to go into place from a utility operation perspective or a delivery perspective for an operator, and to make sure that it actually meets the end requirements for those customers and the use cases that they're going to be operating in. And finally, we go into sort of a blend of delivery installation and then finally field testing. So this is the boots on the ground phase of the project where our team and often the customer team go to site for a week. We're setting up our equipment in the field. We're testing it with the real live DER asset, whether it's battery or solar, wind, hydro, etc., EV charging, and making sure that those pieces of equipment are functioning as expected before we go into a commissioning. So what that really leads to is this rigorous testing process where we're actually able to see, did all of the devices that are going to be acting in line with the system perform as expected? Once that's complete, we actually can get to sort of the commissioning phase, right? That means that we have checked all of the boxes that are requirements for being able to be ready for go live. Once we get to go live, the customer gives us that commissioning certificate and permission to operate, and then we go live. And then we have a warranty period where our implementation team is going to support the project at a rapid pace, make sure that all the end users are trained, that the system's operating properly. And then we have rigorous 24/7 managed services that are always available for continued support for the life of the asset. Excuse me. So I want to talk about a couple of key projects that we've got ongoing here. First is National Grid. This is a very interesting project. So it's a minimum viable project, flexible interconnection for both solar and battery assets on National Grid's grid, both in New York and Massachusetts. We've taken a very adaptive style and real deep embedding with their team in this project. They use an all-digital delivery process, so Agile, Scrum, and Kanban boards to manage everything that we're doing in this project. And it's really required both teams to integrate with each other and be deep partners in making sure that this implementation is going forward in a managed and a controlled manner. We've got some really tight deadlines that we're working on for this project to make sure that we meet their regulatory requirements and their financial requirements for these projects. And something that's been really interesting is we've actually had to go into custom fabrication. So not something that SGS typically does, but to meet the customer's requirements and for partnership and making sure that the outcomes that the customer needs to make sure that the distribution standard team gets what they need to actually be able to put the equipment in the field. We've actually done some custom design and custom fabrication to meet the customer's needs. For our Avangrid project partnership, this is actually another flexible interconnection, but it's actually the first attempt in North America for us as a project where we actually have done flexible interconnection on the grid. This project's been live for a couple of years now. This has been a really interesting partnership where we've actually had to do a lot of customization to make sure that those DER assets that are in this flexible interconnection we can actually talk to from the architecture and communication standpoint. So it's been a very interesting and deep partnership for us. Calcom Energy, this is a microgrid project in California. This has been a unique project. We're dealing with the self-generation incentive program in California. We're dealing with public safety power shutdown programs in California. This has been a bit of a complex microgrid. It's actually connecting at a transmission voltage. So what that means is that SGS and the project team at the customer level have had to deeply integrate on the engineering perspective, both from the communications architecture and the topology of the microgrid, but also from the standpoint of engineering, right? There are a lot of engineering complexities that all have to get tied together, and the microgrid controller provided by SGS has to operate properly. So it's been a really deep partnership. We've gone into a sort of a deep project management mode with the customer to ensure that our style is keeping up with the project needs. Orange and Rockland Utilities is a NYSERDA-funded project in New York. This is an ADMS integration project for Orange and Rockland, where we're actually integrating some smart inverter functionality. We'll be testing things like, or demonstrating things like volt-watt, volt-var capabilities of smart inverters within Orange and Rockland's ADMS system. It also sort of is a leapfrog for things like flexible interconnection. This has been one of those projects where we did a lab phase where we demonstrated grid simulation. We started with hardware in the loop, we actually ended up going with power hardware in the loop, so we had to buy some grid simulation technology so that we could actually demonstrate this effectively in a lab environment. And now we're moving on to the field phase of the project. The solar developer through the pandemic wasn't able to continue with the project, so SGS has taken on a very unique role for us, which is actually take on a development role for the solar asset. So instead of just putting our equipment at a solar asset, we're actually helping all the way from the repower of this solar asset and getting it ready for field trials. The next project here is Endurant Energy. These are 3 battery dispatch projects in New York City. These projects are really unique. They're actually a dual participation model. So for dispatching both into Con Edison service territory as a demand response asset, but also into the NYSERDA market for things like capacity. This has been a really unique project. It's been a 6-year pilot that we've been working on. This has led to a really deep partnership with our customer and with Con Edison and NYSO. We've been dealing with different communication architectures, dealing with firewalls and VPNs and different communication architectures for things like AWS. So it's been a really unique partnership. We've learned a lot. I think everyone's learned a lot from this one. Those batteries have been operating for about 4 years now, and so they actually have some real-world operating experience in a very unique environment. The last one here is Hydro Management, or Hydro One, excuse me. This is a grid management project. This is kind of a unique one. This sort of teeters between like grid support and also adding capacity at a facility. So there was a facility that's essentially a large greenhouse in Ontario that needed to add additional capacity to its operations. But because it's in a really densely dense grid area, there wasn't enough capacity in the local grid to be able to add additional support services for that particular facility. So SGS put the DERMS system in place to ensure that instead of waiting for grid upgrades to be able to support the additional capacity that the facility needed, we actually were able to control some of the facility lighting and allow the facility to grow in its size and its operations by just controlling some of the building operations. So again, just to sort of recap, we have over 30 active DER systems across North America, Europe, Asia, and the UK. What that really means for us at SGS is we've done these implementations in enough places with enough different use cases and had to adapt both our style and our methods and our products that we bring a lot of experience to the table so that we can help our customers avoid pitfalls and potential blockers for project implementation. And this all is in the name of de-risking and mitigating project complications so that we can have a smooth and trouble-free implementation. We have a lot of expertise in-house and a lot of knowledge base. So all of these maybe use cases and sometimes corner cases and even outlier cases, we're able to lend that knowledge to your particular instance of DERMS implementation and DER management to ensure that you have a smooth and capable delivery. Again, one of the things that I think we do really well is we test early and we test often to make sure that we take those requirements all the way from concept and we work through those requirements and make sure that they're actual deliverables that have the right outcomes linked to what the customer needs for their use case and for their project. So in closing, we have scaled up a gigawatt scale of DER management. We've done this in a number of different instances, whether it's solar, wind, battery, hydro, EV charging, on multiple different continents. Because we have 30 active systems and we've done over 500 megawatts of connected systems and a number of different use cases, we've become a trusted partner for a lot of utility and development organizations and even C&I and microgrid operators. We have over $1 billion in market value created, and this is all because we have an adaptable product suite, right? So please come around the corner and see one of our demos today. We actually have several of people available to talk to you about the different product suites and how we can adapt them to your use case and to the outcomes that you need from your project. We also have sort of a layered approach, right? So not just in products, like how do we start with, say, an MVP product and build up to a full DERMS platform for your implementation use case, but we can start with an element grid. We can start with real-time automation and making sure that your system is having active network management. And then we can also bring in forecasting and optimization, which really means that with the products and the approaches and the methods that we use, we have a scalable approach. So I want to thank all my friends for being here today for my presentation. I really appreciate it. I know that's a busy conference and I really appreciate your time today. So if you have any questions, love to answer them. Thank you very, very much. All right. Thanks everyone. Take care. Have a great show.